Hey there, Leo Sun, Leo Moon, Leo Rising. It's Maggie from Moon Directive. Welcome to my channel. Here we work with the energy of the moon to see how we can best utilize it to move our life forward in the most positive way possible. I did channel a message for you. Going to hop right into that in just a second. And then we're going to do 2 weeks of Moon Astrology and how you can best use that energy. And it's for May 25th through May 30th for the first one. And the second one will be June 1st through the 7th. So, and as always, I encourage you to leave me a comment because I literally write your name down in a book. I'll show you. I have a book. and I channel messages. When I'm channeling the messages, I'm focusing on the names I have in that and the energy of the people that I think that will watch the videos. So, your message. First thing I heard was John Mellencamp. It was John Cougar Mellencamp back in the day, but he was singing, oh, and you know what's important about that? All of a sudden it really occurs to me, somebody was trying to tell him he needed to be John Cougar, right? And then it was John Cougar Mellencamp, and it was somebody was trying to make him be something that he wasn't, and he was trying to fit in to be successful, and in the end he was just himself, and that's where he got his greatest success. And I really want to encourage you, because that feels like a real important message, to be who you really are. It keeps showing up in the readings throughout, so that's something to pay attention to. So anyways, this song, and the walls come crumbling down, you know, and, no, I'm not going to sing it for you. And then I saw this big old castle just collapse, boom, and there's rubble, and there's dirt and dust flying everywhere, but I see you on the other side in a field, skipping away, like not sad. Like you were running and skipping, and I thought, oh my God, you're free. I don't know what that was about. I don't know if it's some walls that you built around your heart, and now you're letting somebody in, and you're finally skipping into the freedom of that. I don't know if it was a bad job situation, and you're free from that. Relationship situation, something that made you feel very protected, I think, for a while there, but then the protection became strangling, difficult. So, you know, it could be that you were protecting your heart, or you were doing things to protect your livelihood, or whatever, you know. So that was what I saw. And then I heard, be gentle with yourself as this truth understanding does its magic. And so I think this full moon that happens in your 5th house of fun and romance is going to illuminate the necessity of having fun again, of letting your inner child out to play, of not feeling all trapped and everything. And so, but transition is hard, and that came collapsing down, so you may not see it necessarily coming. It could be a sudden ending that you hadn't anticipated, but on the other side there's joy. So be gentle with yourself as you work your way through this. Let's go ahead and get into the first week reading of May 25th through May 30th, 31st. Not trying to shortcut the summer, that's for sure. Okay, so here we go. We start out with the moon is in Capricorn. I'm in Cancer. Wow, the moon is in Cancer, and so there's this need to kind of internalize the emotions that you were feeling from. So we just had that new moon that happened in Gemini, right? And that new moon in Gemini would have been in your 11th house of groups and group activities. And so there may have been a shift around that. But now as this moon moves into Cancer, it's in the 12th house. It's your 12th house of your goals, your dreams, your desires, your wishes. And there's a need to kind of internalize this growing feeling that you have inside for what it is that you want and the choices that you're going to make, and what choices and boundaries that you set for yourself should be based on self-love. On what's important for you, what matters to you, where are things going for you that are really key, instead of relying on and worrying about what's happening with other people. Oh, all right, well, first up, let's do this one. In the moonlight, a full moon can shine light on what you have been resisting. This can be anything from your fears to your soul's beauty. We have this full moon lunar eclipse coming up next week in Scorpio. So it's pretty, not Scorpio, in Sagittarius. So that's that 5th house of fun and romance and creativity that's been being blocked. Well, the full moon is going to illuminate and let you know what it is that you need to be free from. But this is what made me laugh. It says rediscovering your zeal. I mean, you were skipping away from that pile of rubble. Okay, so it says pay attention to the passions you are feeling for discovering, learning, exploring spirituality and travel, your work. Oh my gosh, this is a lot of that energy of the 12th house. Your work or your relationships, passion and desire go together, especially as inspiration. So what inspires you? What gets you excited? What gets you up out of bed in the morning? So this whole moon coming up, and granted, this is not this week, this is the following week, but this cycle between this new moon and this full moon is so potent. Because the new moon happened in Gemini, the north node just moved into Gemini, and so that means the south node just moved into Sagittarius. And the interplay between these two really tell a whole story this time. And so then the moon is going to move into the house of you, number 1, house of you, Leo, at 2:33 a.m. on Wednesday. And it is in opposition to Aquarius. And this is like Aquarius likes to break the boundaries. They want to just push it, but it's in opposition to Saturn. It's like, no, you have to have some boundaries. And so there might be a little push me, pull me inside of you about what is creative, what is important to you, what nourishes your soul, what makes you feel really good, and where's the path forward. And so I think there's could be this little stress, this little strain of how am I going to make this work? Do I go? But always step into your light and shine. You have communication. I communicate from my heart, and love surrounds me and protects me. Love surrounds me and protects me. Not the walls, but love. And Mercury is going to move into Cancer on Thursday. And Cancer likes to communicate. And it likes to communicate from the heart. And so I feel like this is really about being able to do that. About being able to speak your truth and to listen with your intuition. And really, I do think there's going to be a need because we've got Venus in retrograde to maybe not tell everything, but speaking your truth. Whatever you speak, be truthful and honest. If you don't want to share something and you're keeping it to yourself for your own reasons, that's fine. But be honest with yourself. Be very honest with yourself is what I just heard. Be very honest with yourself about what it is you're thinking, you're feeling. Be willing to listen and read between the lines to see where things are going. Moon is going to move into Virgo on Friday. Now, Virgo is very analyzing kind of energy. It likes to assess. It likes discernment. And it's so funny that the moon in this position happens to fall like that with Virgo. It's about where you want to go. How are you assessing? What's the roadmap ahead? For you, this is happening in your second house, right, of what you value, your self-worth, your self-esteem, financial issues. And so this communication from the heart about what's important to you plays into now assessing, now that I know what's important to me, how do I find the way forward? How do I figure out the next path? But it's just your smile. Simply smile and notice the profound and healing difference it makes. I feel like you're going to be surprised by something, and yet it might feel like, what? How is that coming? But if you allow yourself to see the freedom in it, it feels like freedom. On Sunday, the moon's going to move into Libra in the morning, 10:38 a.m. And this can really kick up some anxieties. This for you being in that third house of communication. So here we are about the communicating from the heart, and a few days later, there's all these fears and anxieties, and I think it's really important to understand that hasn't happened, right? Fears and anxieties are about what we think could happen that might be negative. And so having this card come in ahead of time that says to smile kind of makes me feel like the Spirit is saying, no, stay on the positive side of things. Think about what you are creating. Remember, rediscover your zeal for life. rediscover your zeal for life. So staying on the positive side of things and releasing and letting go of your fears. There's this need for you to create this bubble of love and light around you. Like, I mean, sunshiny light. If you look, there she is, all in that bubble of light, inner light shining on her, safe and protected while all this crap is going on around her, and she's not dealing with it. She's letting it slide by. Druid holds space. See how she's holding space inside of herself for herself, nurturing and caring her for herself, and all the other stuff is going on. And I almost feel like if you look at it this way, this is you and this is your higher self. And your higher self is wrangling things into the correct order and managing it. And so release and turn over your fears to spirit. And you also have the fox spirit, which is trust your talents in changing times. Well, change is happening everywhere. Hard to ignore that. So you've got all this energy of things changing, of things going and moving. And so you are safe and you are protected where you are. Allow yourself to trust your angels, trust your guides, and trust what's in your heart that feels so important to you that you really want to focus on right now, because it is the stepping stone. It is the pathway forward for you. And so by being discerning and looking ahead and thinking about it in a really allow yourself to be divinely guided and fall on the side of happiness and allow that healing and the freedom. I feel like it feels like freedom. It feels like so much freedom for you moving ahead. So just something to kind of focus on. All right, we're going to move into the next week here, which is June 1st through June 7th. And we start out the week with that moon still up here in Libra, right? Still in Libra. It's about the promotion for yourself. It's about, gosh, it actually has some really nice communication energy from the heart space, but at the same time, it is about creating those healthy boundaries. So Libra is in a really nice supportive trine energy with Saturn. Again, the boundaries over there in Aquarius. So there's a lot of support for creating these safe, healthy boundaries around yourself. So remember, you're holding space. You're holding space for yourself, for your dreams, for your goals, for your wishes, for all the things that you want that are coming your way, and trusting and believing in yourself. You know, the thing about the foxes, they're very resourceful. They can find a way to provide for themselves. They always make sure that they have what they need. They're clever. They can, in Aesop's fables, they're always like, or Grimm's or whatever, they're always talking somebody out of something to get what they want. They're clever. They're resourceful. They think on their feet. And they hide in the shadows to protect themselves when they need to. And so, those safe, healthy boundaries and holding space for yourself emotionally might be really important right now. And focus on the joy and the happiness. You remember the sunflower, right? That's coming. So allowing yourself to find your zeal for life again, right? On Tuesday, the moon is going to move into Scorpio at 12:06 p.m. And the conversations that were held over the weekend, especially Sunday and Monday, which really isn't the weekend, but the conversations you had with yourself, conversations you had with others, really great energy for that, right? To find your way. There's going to be some insights that come from it, especially if you're using your fox spirit there. The ability to read between the lines and get other information, figure out what's going on and what's the best way to go. And so I feel like there's a real download of insights to move you forward. Oh, you have very creative energy that just looks like you. All these ideas about what it is you're trying to create for yourself moving forward. And it's just going to require you having the willpower and the focus to create this transformation in your life, to allow things to move forward with passion. And as I said, that full moon that's happening in Sagittarius on Friday is in your 5th house of creativity. Children, creativity, fun, romance. It is about take the time on Thursday to review your life a little bit. prior to that full moon, and see all the places where you have shown, where you have been creative, where you've been recognized, either by yourself or by others for your great achievements, right? And what one person considers a great achievement might not be what another one is. It doesn't matter. It's what you think is a great achievement. So, you know, gosh, you could have been the best jump roper in second grade, right? You could have closed a deal that nobody even knows about. You could have, you know, what was important to you? You know, maybe what you're really proud of is your parenting skills, and what you decide. Where's the creative energy that you feel you should be taking a bow for in your heart that's really important to you? Because when that moon, let's see, what time is that at? It's at 15 degrees, but it's at 3:12 p.m. So it's 24 hours later at 15 degrees of Sagittarius, which is 15 degrees is like, in a sign, is like that's a halfway point. So that's what's behind, and now we're moving forward. What are you letting go of? What are you releasing that is creating this dynamic in your life where it's hard for you to feel this joy and this happiness because this is showing up so much, right? And so blocking your creativity. What can you release and let go of that allows you, you know, taking that action internally? And it's a belief system. When it's a lunar eclipse, and this is, you know, it's about what's going on inside of you. Solar eclipses are about, you know, releasing things out in the 3D world. Well, this is happening on the internal plane. What do you need to release? The negative self-talk, the attitudes, the belief systems that were given to you by your parents that maybe you don't share any longer. You know, what can you do to let go of so that you can allow yourself to blossom? Because this is the blossoming moon. This is where you really take something and you allow yourself to grow and really blossom forward in life on this. And so how do you do that for yourself? And it's by unburdening, releasing, letting go of the things that are holding you back from being that level of success, you know, on your path to growth, to spiritual and soul growth, to growth in a business. Maybe there's something that, you know, there's an idea. Okay, so maybe you have this business and it's kind of struggling right now because I've always done it this way. Now it's maybe time to think, well, that way was great before, but now the whole world has changed, and so I have to think on my feet and be creative and come up with a new way to hold this space in the market and to grow my business. So what self-limiting belief do you have that's holding you back? Might be something too. Okay, we have communication coming out again. There is somebody you need to talk to, Leo, in order to progress things forward. This is the new moon in Gemini. This happened right there on the 22nd of May. So it just happened, right? 2 weeks ago. It was the new moon before this full moon. Something needs to be communicated between now and this full moon that really has to come out. The communication card came out last week. The communication card again. It becomes really important that you speak up and you speak what what's truthful to you, because look at this. You have the end of a tough cycle approaches. This is full moon in Capricorn. Now, it's supposed to be about this full moon, but I'm telling you, the full moon in Capricorn happens 30 days after this one. Well, 28 days actually. And so that was July 5th. And it's an eclipse. This eclipse, this new moon into the eclipse, into the next two after that are also eclipses. It's a big, huge cycle for you of letting something go that's keeping you from being authentically who you are, being your creative self, having the life that you're trying to create here, right? Helping you rediscover your zeal for life. I feel as though, and because we got the smile card and everything, that maybe you've been feeling a little down, a little depressed. I mean, there's been a lot of things that could be causing that lately, so no judgment. But how do you let go of that negative energy and allow yourself to really move forward? And it's going to take a little self-reflection. Getting your head above the emotional waters, which isn't so hard for Leo. But taking your mask off, there's no mask, and really looking at your situation and what it is that actually brings the pleasure and the joy into your life And then, because the moon is in Capricorn on Saturday and Sunday, it is about taking the responsibility for creating the joy and the happiness in your life. And it isn't anyone's responsibility but yours. And so it's accepting the responsibility, taking the self-reflection to think about that, and then creating it for yourself. Oh, okay. Wow. This is amazing and scary at the same time. Okay. First off, communication is the key. Communication. And then you have the parrot which says, watch your words. Communicate your truth. I don't want you to not speak your truth. Never, ever do I ever want anyone to not speak their truth. But there is a way to speak your truth that people are more willing to receive the information than others. And so there's two parts to communication, right? This is what I learned in my communication class. First lesson was, there's two parts to communication. There's the communicator and there's the receptor. So if something blocks it on its way, attitudes, emotional baggage, and there's lots of things that can get in the way of the other person being able to receive the message that you're trying to send. And so you're being encouraged to communicate clearly, maybe with a little less emotion and fire, so that it can be received, so that it can be clear. And the thing about Leo is you're oftentimes in a relationship with air signs, right? Either the sun, the moon, the rising. And when that happens, air signs, they don't necessarily respond. You get all fired up and they can stay calm and placid, but are they really listening, or are they just tuning you out? And so if you really want them to hear what you're saying, speaking words, either in business or, especially if you're talking to employees or something, right? Or you're talking to your higher ups and you're trying to get something created and you're like, I'm really mad about this situation and that suddenly I lost my job and you guys owe me this money and everything. You can use harsh words if you want, but will that help you? And so more flies with honey than vinegar, I hear. Okay, so here we have the fox spirit, and here you have the fox spirit again. And so again, this is thinking on your feet. This one says, trust your talents in changing times. Thinking on your feet. Really following your intuition. Working with your strong suits. But I love this. You have the buffalo spirits. The abundance of the universe will provide. And I think if you can really focus on the fact that everything you need will be brought to you. You have the ability to create it. You have the ability to attract it into your life. I would like to encourage you not to create additional obstacles through harsh words. Tactical thinking and action really is important right now. Oh, I'm thinking about my Leo friends that I know that get mad. And then they get over it. It's the destruction that you leave behind. It's like, oh my gosh, I saw the funniest little meme on Facebook yesterday, and it was about Korean, they're not really Korean. It was a squirrel, but they called it South Korean squirrels have invaded our... Anyways, they were looking like little Rambos with these fire torches blowing fire out. I was like, oh crap. Yeah. I have a squirrel that I'm fighting with right now because he wants to get up on the feeder and he won't stay on the ground where I have the food. And I'm like, what if he's not really Tarzan, but he's really Rambo, right? And so I want to encourage you not to be Rambo. That was a long way to get to that. I'm sorry. Try not to be Rambo. Don't go in there with all the firepower that you have. Instead, be clever. Hide in the shadows. Make the sneaky ass moves that you need to do to get what you need and what you deserve, right? Pay attention to how you speak to people. And Fox make me think of a little bit of manipulative energy, which I'm not a big fan of, but somehow this situation here with the fox showing up twice kind of makes me feel like maybe a little bit of manipulation would be in your best interest. So what I love is that you have gold, attract abundance for the next 2 weeks for the color card. And so you have this buffalo spirit, the abundance of the universe will provide. And so how does the abundance of the universe come to you? It is by having the mindset that it will come to me. And so, yes, the fox thinks on their feet, and they have to be clever, they have to manipulate, but you have to be honest. And you have to be in integrity. There's the word I'm looking for. There needs to be a sense of integrity because that will be rewarded. You will attract through high vibrational energy that you put out what it is that you want back. But this tough cycle that you're in, it's coming to an end in the next short while. I think that you will see a real shift in a month, and then eclipse energy can go out for a while. So it might be the kickstart of the end of the cycle, and it might take a few more months to play out, depending what it is. But, you know, the universe will provide. If you just can trust in that and focus on that, and, you know, carry around maybe a little pyrite, which is fool's gold. It's easy to find. All right. Better yet, put a gold coin in your pocket. All right, you guys take care. I will see you back here next Monday, and we'll talk about the last 2 weeks of the Gemini season and how you can use that energy, which, you know, this sort of covers, but we go into it from a different angle. All right, I will see you then. Be sure to leave me a message and a thumbs up, and we'll talk soon.